Tippecanoe Place is a mansion that was once home of Clement Studebaker. Clem and his brother Henry started up their own wagon building and blacksmithing businesses in 1852, H&C Studebaker. When brother Peter joined the firm, the Studebaker Brothers Manufacturing Company was born. By 1868, the Studebakers were fairly wealthy, and Clem Studebaker, then president of the firm, had many rich and powerful friends. Studebaker now moved in the same circles with the likes of J.P. Morgan, John Wanamaker, and Andrew Carnegie. Clem wanted to build a house that would be more fitting to his wealth and position, and where he could host lavish parties. Work on the new mansion, to be known as Tippecanoe Place, was begun in 1886. The Studebaker business continued to flourish. Clem invested heavily and began to buy up utilities across the country. The family lived happily for years until, like many people, their finances were nearly wiped out by the stock market crash of 1929. Clem and Anne found they could no longer afford the upkeep on the large mansion. They moved to a nearby apartment, taking with them one maid. Tippecanoe Place became the headquarters for the Red Cross, then a school for the handicapped, and later, a historical museum. It opened as a restaurant on Memorial Day weekend in 1980. It was soon after opening as a restaurant that the ghosts of the past began to make themselves known. One night, a manager was closing up alone, as the rest of the staff had already left. He was going through all the rooms, checking that everything was in place, and turning off all the lights, when he suddenly felt he was no longer alone. Nervously, he moved into one of the last rooms and turned to switch off the lights. In the doorway through which he just stepped was a woman dressed in white. While the young man could see her features plainly, he could also see through her. Frozen in fear, he watched as she walked towards him. Then, as the figure walked right through him, the young man felt a mist on his face. He spun around, but the ghostly figure had vanished. Somehow, he found the courage to finish closing up for the night, but the next day he called the management team to inform them that he would never again set foot in Tippecanoe Place. Another incident happened on a night they were taking inventory. Several secretaries and managers were up on the 4th floor checking on the accounts when they were disturbed by a tremendous uproar coming from the attic. It was early in the morning, and they knew that no one was up there, but it sounded as if chairs were being thrown about. Worried, they called the police, who arrived with a police dog. By this time, the sounds had ceased. The dog was sent up to the attic, but came down in a matter of moments, showing no signs that he had found anything out of order. The police officers then checked out the attic themselves and found nothing amiss. The managers and the secretaries were left in the dark as to what had caused the uproar they'd heard. The bar seems to be a particularly active spot. Bartenders have reported feeling cold spots and seeing something just out of the corner of their eyes. The water faucets at the bar often turned on by themselves. Workers have said that they've left the room and returned seconds later to find the taps turned fully on, water gushing into the sink. One bartender was serving a drink to a customer who was asking about the ghostly happenings in the restaurant. The bartender had replied that he didn't believe in ghosts when an expensive bottle of liquor came off the shelf right behind him and crashed to the floor. Lights are often turned back on after an employee has left the room. One Tiffany lamp in particular is often found back on, even after being unplugged. Guests have also had ghostly experiences. Some have reported feeling cold spots, while others tell of seeing a face behind them in the restroom mirror. Upon turning around, of course, no one is there.